currently have planetary combinations that are similar to what was going on during World War I and World War II?
In mundane astrology, we go back and look for patterns. And yes, the patterns are there. And especially I have noticed that Mars and Ketu are always involved when there are world wars. This war is going to rage. It's not going to finish. It started in the Middle East and it's going to spread all over. He's showing the world there is no rules, no regulations, there is no law. And this is what happens in Kalyug.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Astrology and Spirituality. In today's episode, we are going to discuss the war in Iran. We'll be looking at the charts of Donald Trump, Benjamin Netanyahu, the charts of Israel, the US, and Iran. Now, over the last couple of days, Trump has gone a little bit mental. He's been saying that he wants to bomb Iran into oblivion. He wants to destroy their civilization and send them back to the Stone Ages where they belong. So what is going on in the skies right now? Why is everyone so angry? And is this going to lead to World War III?
Okay, that's a great question. Everybody's angry right now. First of all, thank God Trump didn't do what he said he would do. And the main reason is because Mars actually moved in the sign of Pisces when he was making his decision. Okay, so I'll tell you why everybody's so angry. We had a 12-day war last year between Iran and Israel. And then, of course, US was involved as well. But then this year, Rahu has been in the sign of Aquarius for a hell of a long time now, okay? And it's going to be there until the end of this year. So it stays in a sign for about 18 months, okay? So what happened this year is on the 28th of February, Mars went and joined Rahu. When Mars joins Rahu, we call it Angarak Yog. That's what happens. And the word Angarak Yog literally means fire from the skies. And that's where the war started. Everybody is so angry because Rahu puts Mars on steroids. And when Mars is such a hot planet in an air sign, it just blows up. And that's exactly how the war started. And I think your second part of the question was, are we going towards the Third World War?
Yeah.
We are indeed. This is the beginning of the Third World War. In fact, I would say it started when everything started going wrong in Gaza. Mm-hmm. And after Gaza, Iran now, and now the Middle East is all engulfed. And we've got Ukraine and Russia there as well. So all these wars spreading all over the world are going to become one big Third World War because people will protect each other. The big nuclear countries are going to stand for certain countries and certain people will stand for certain countries.
Yeah, it started with Russia, Ukraine, then you had Israel and Palestine. Israel are now in Lebanon.
Yes.
You've got the US, Israel, I keep repeating Israel, they are now
They're everywhere.
Iran. Do we currently have planetary combinations that are similar to what was going on during World War I and World War II?
In mundane astrology, we go back and look for patterns. And yes, the patterns are there. And especially I have noticed that Mars and Ketu are always involved when there are world wars. And this time round, Ketu is in the nakshatra of Magha. And Magha is ruled by Ketu. And because it's in a Leo sign, one is supposed to be very humble, very spiritual and everything. And that particular nakshatra is about our Pitrus. Pitrus are our ancestors. So we're going back generations and generations, okay? So this is a very karmic war. So remember that. And especially for Iran, because Iran is the oldest civilization in the Middle East. And for them, this is like live or die. You know?
Of course it's live or die, and it's also the rhetoric that we're seeing from Donald Trump, from Netanyahu, the way that they're referring to people is so bad. And this is what they did during World War I and World War II. That's how we got into that mess in the first place.
You see, it's always people's way of talking to each other. If you speak with harsh language, you're going to get that harsh language back again. So, they have used some horrible words. It started with Netanyahu when he called everybody animals, like, in Gaza. And now this time around, USA said that Iranians are animals. So, if you talk like that and you are president of the free world, what's so free about it when you're talking like a barbaric person? You don't use that language. I haven't seen Iran use that language yet.
No.
So I think you have to be dignified when you're a statesperson. And if you don't show your dignity, then you're not supposed to be a leader of not only the free world, any country.
I completely agree. Talking of the leader of the free world, who unfortunately is Trump at the moment, what is his chart like and what is going on in terms of transits?
Okay, so he's a Leo rising. And Leos like to roar. And he is absolutely pomp, show, drama. He loves that glory and he loves everyone saying, wow, look at him. He's so good. And that's how he was born. He's ruled by Sun. Sun is sitting in the Taurus sign. It's his status house. And that's absolutely great because Sun sits with Rahu in his 10th house, which is his status. That's why he is the ruler of the free world today. Otherwise, he would never be a president. But the problem with him is that when he was born, he had Mars in the first house, and that Mars makes him a warmonger and also a leader. Don't get me wrong. So if you're channeling that Mars energy correctly, you can be a great leader. You need discipline and all that because it also reflects on armies and people like that. But if that Mars energy becomes negative and all you want to say is look at me, then it is all negative energy. And there is a lot of anger in Donald because what is happening is that Mars is looking at his moon fallen, which is a thinking planet, sitting with Ketu, very karmic, in the sign of Scorpio. So we know that Trump does lose his cool. He does become very angry. Now, he doesn't want to show it to the world, but we've seen it now. You push him in a corner and we've seen what he becomes.
So we know that he was born under a solar eclipse. There must be lots of other people who are also born under a solar eclipse. What is the trajectory of their lives?
Okay, so there are good solar eclipses and then there are bad. Unfortunately for Trump, he's born under a really difficult one. And I call it difficult because Ketu and Moon fallen in the sign of Scorpio with Rahu and Sun opposite is not a great solar eclipse. He is a statesman, but look at the negative side of it. The negative side is that Ketu and Moon fallen. So he doesn't think correctly. All right, so emotionally, he doesn't like anyone telling him he hasn't done well. He's a very emotional guy, by the way. He doesn't like people telling him what to do or tease him in any way. All these memes and things that are going out there. He doesn't like those, but I think most of the time now he's probably told him, don't show me anything.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he can get very angry. Now, when we are born under an eclipse like that, and he's got Kala Sarpa Yoga as well. The Kala Sarpa Yoga is a serpent of time. This guy has come in here. Everybody thought he was the greatest person on earth. And look what he's done. That's where Ketu and Moon come in. And this is what he's doing. He's destroying the world. All the peace we had and everything. So yes, we have great statesmen who are going to create peace, who are born under this sort of yoga or do some great things. Kings and queens, so many of them are born under this solar eclipse as well. But not his type. Good ones. And if you look at the ones who do come into the world, they want to come and change the order of the world as well, for good or for bad. And Trump is one of them.
And he's for bad.
For bad.
Now, what about Netanyahu? I'm really intrigued because we have discussed Trump before, but I don't think we've ever looked at Netanyahu's chart.
So let's look at him. That's an interesting one. So Netanyahu was born a Scorpio rising. So I call them partners in crime, like Trump and Netanyahu. So Trump is a Leo rising and Netanyahu is a Scorpio rising. Now, what a difference. Scorpio rising is swampy water. So if you put your foot in there, it gets pretty stuck. So it's very difficult to come out. It's a fixed sign as well. So you're not going to change your opinion and everything. Whereas a Leo sign just wants to show off, roar and show off. So Netanyahu has got so many flaws in his first chart. Of course, we look at 16 charts, but I can tell you why so many things have gone wrong in Netanyahu's chart. So if you look at Netanyahu, the first indicator of our work and everything is sun. Sun is the indicator we'll look to. Where is it placed? Is it well placed? Like in Trump's chart, it is placed in the 10th house. So we know that he's the president of USA, yeah? Forget the flaws for now. Then we look at Netanyahu's sun. It's fallen. It's fallen in the Libra sign in the 12th house. That can't be very good for his profession. Yet, I know he's been in rule for so many years.
He's been there for ages.
Forever.
Yeah,
like forever. And that's to do with Mars and Saturn in the sign of Leo. That is his status house. Now, when you look at this status house, we've got two planets which are letting him be the leader. But when you look at the foundations of that particular sign, which is Leo sign, it's ruled by Sun. Sun is fallen. So tell me, where's the balance there? So you have crumbling foundations with two planets sitting in there that he is dictating. So you can see where he's gone wrong, can't you? Now, we all understand who Netanyahu is. I think before Gaza, people just had an idea something was going on. It was never shown on the screen and everything. Now we know the truth about Netanyahu. So astrologically, it's there in front of me. And then we look at his other planet, which is a very important planet, and that is Jupiter. And Jupiter is also fallen. But it is Vargotma. Vargotma means it's fallen in the second chart as well. We look at the second chart and it's fallen there as well. So it makes it somewhat stronger in his third house. I think the reason he got somewhere, he's a great strategic person. He works things out and he doesn't necessarily tell you the truth. He lies a lot. He's lied his way up to the top. He's always lied. You can see even the tactics in the war. Yeah. Oh, they've got a nuclear weapon. Da, da, da.
Oh,
even in Iraq as well. It was him who said all that. Yeah. So he got to the top by lying to people and creating all these wars. If you look at Mercury and Moon, they're both thinking planets. They're sitting in the sign of Virgo. But guess who's sitting with it? Ketu.
Yeah.
Ketu is not a friend of the moon, and it also messes up the Mercury as well. So his thinking is not, it's devious. Let's call it devious.
He's very Machiavellian.
That's the right word. I didn't, I should have used that word. That's who he is. And so if you look at his chart, again, we can say that these two people who are together at the minute are both warmongers because his sun is actually fallen in the nakshatra of Chitra, which is ruled by Mars. There's your first Mars coming up. Yep. Then his moon is also in Chitra, ruled by Mars. And I'm talking about the constellations, yeah? And then there is another one, when you look at his Mars in the sign of Leo, is sitting in Maga. Maga is ruled by Ketu. But have you seen any humbleness in him?
No.
Have you seen anything? So he's egotistical. So Ketu does not tolerate egotistical people. It will break him down. All right, until he becomes humble. And by the way, Ketu is also in the nakshatra of Chitra, which is ruled by Mars. So now you know why this man is who he is.
So what's going to happen to him in the future? Is he going to face justice at any time? Is he going to be stopped? Is Trump going to be stopped? Or are they just on this warpath now where no one is going to stop them?
In Vedic astrology, we do have periods in life. Periods means the planets have certain amount of years in them. So like if I had a Venus period running, it would be 20 years. If I had Saturn, it would be 19 years. But he is in the Ketu period. How amazing is that he's in the Ketu period? What did I speak about Ketu? It is a spiritual and humbling planet. So when you ask me the question, what is going to happen to him? You can see he's in that period for 6 years and he comes out of it at the age of 82 and 7 months. And in this particular period of Ketu, lots of things are going to happen to him. People are going to isolate him. He's going to be very alone. He might get charged for war crimes and things. Lots of things can happen.
Can you see him in jail? Is that something that can be indicated by Ketu because it's a very isolating planet?
Well, we look at the number 12 house from the moon. The 12th house from the moon is Mars and Saturn. And also from his rising sign, Sun is fallen in the 12th house. He can go into jail because of something he did wrong at work. It could be monies or whatever it is that he has done.
Or genocide, if he's ever charged for it.
Or war crimes, yeah. So that is a huge possibility. Whether he will get charged and end up in a jail or not, I can't be 100% sure because these people do get away as well. Sure, but there is an indication that he can be charged
Netanyahu is in Ketu until 2031. What does that mean for the future of Israel?
Well, if you look at Israel's chart, it is a Virgo rising, and Virgo rising is ruled by Mercury. So let me remind you again, I'm going to put you back to 28th of February, what happened. Mercury went retrograde in the sign of Aquarius, and that's when the war broke out. And Mercury is Israel's rising sign. And it was in the enemy's house. Number 6 is our enemy's house. So the war broke off, and Ketu in the 12th house. So people are isolating them already. As a country, I'm talking now. As I speak about Israel, all the planets from the sign of Aquarius, where the Angara Kalyug took place, have now shifted to the Pisces sign. Now that Pisces sign is a big ocean. And in that big ocean, we've got Saturn sitting there for a while now. It's been there. And it's trying to look for structure and teach people lessons. We've got Mars just joined it, would you believe it? You know, when the decision was made not to
fall into oblivion.
Yeah. Not to kill everyone. And then also Sun is sitting there. Sun is also to do with authority and everything. It's in the water sign. Now, Pisces is a giver's sign. It's a very charitable sign and everything. But when these planets get together like that, and now Mercury is going to join it and fall in Pisces, the big ocean. Now we're going to have the war from the air going into the water.
Well, they're after the Strait of Hormuz.
Absolutely, that's exactly what's going to happen now. And I just heard that they've closed it again.
Of course, because they keep breaching their ceasefire.
Absolutely. So this month is a very heavy month. And then in May, it kind of eases off, but it doesn't mean it's going to be the end of the war. Like we thought the war in Gaza had finished, it still hasn't finished. You know, they're still killing people in Lebanon. It carries on, and they've killed so many people right now. Just today, I think 250 people died. And these were actually civilians. And, you know, it really breaks my heart, but war is not good.
And war is not good, but this is more a genocide now. So, I mean, Gaza, West Bank, I thought Hamas were not in West Bank, so why are they killing people there?
Yeah,
now they're sitting in Lebanon. You know, it's like his idea is to take over the Middle East.
Yeah.
That's what he wants. He wants to take over every little part.
Yeah.
And if the countries don't stand together against this, it will turn into World War III.
Netanyahu always wanted a greater Israel, and he thinks that he can have a buffer zone between Lebanon and himself up to the Litani River. That's literally a tenth of the country. Now,
Right.
How would you feel if somebody came into England and took a tenth of your UK?
Well, how would
you
Keir
feel?
Starmer feel? How would
I don't
President
think
Trump
it would be
feel?
allowed. I don't think it would be allowed. Doesn't matter how many wars you're having with somebody else, you don't come and occupy them. You
Well, I think
can't.
it's a very old school mentality,
Yes,
isn't it?
yes,
it's a very
yes.
British mentality. It's a very
Absolutely,
American
yeah,
mentality.
yeah. So this war is going to carry on for a while. Ceasefire is not going to hold. I know that, because we are going towards a third world war, and these wars are going to keep on raging between the Hormuz, and sometimes it'll be open, sometimes it'll be closed, sometimes there's a ceasefire, sometimes there isn't. So people are going to break all sorts of things, and it's going to become a big mess in the Middle East.
Yeah. And just in terms of Israel itself as a state, because right now they are a pariah state.
Mm.
You know, across the news, a lot of Israelis are in favour of the war.
Yeah.
Not every single Israeli, but a lot of them.
Yeah.
How does this sit for them moving forward?
Well, I don't believe that Israel as a state will exist at the end of the decade.
Really?
Because I get the feeling that they are the odd ones out in the region. And I know it's their right to be there because they were given that land. It's not their right, but they were given that land.
By the British. Because that's what the Brits do. They invade other people's lands and then just draw a line and give it away.
Yeah. And so I believe that not many people will want to live in Israel. So when there's no economy, no people, who's going to be there? So it is going to become a pariah state. And, I don't think there will be any existence of Israel towards, like I'm talking about 31, 32. This war is going to rage. It's not going to finish. It started in the Middle East and it's going to spread all over. And I can just imagine China's eyes on Taiwan, and then North Korea on South Korea. It's all going to change.
Well, I think if people allow one country to go and invade other countries, it sets a precedent. if they're allowed to do it, then why aren't other countries allowed to do it? And that's when wars get created.
Absolutely. And this is what he's doing. He's showing the world there is no rules, no regulations, there is no law. And this is what happens in Kalyug. Kalyug is lustful, materialistic, wars, that sort of a selfish age that we live in. Okay? Now, not all the people are like that, because there are a lot of spiritual people like me. There's a lot of spiritual people like me and you, and we don't want to be nasty. And I'm sure there are lots of spiritual people who don't want this to happen. But you know, we are living in that age, and before we come out of this age, the whole world order has to break up, and there is going to be a new world order before we come into the golden age.
But that's depressing.
Yeah.
That is depressing. I mean, it's exciting on one hand.
I don't know when he's coming.
But it's depressing. It's like the entire world is going to destroy itself before it re-emerges, and then you start from scratch again.
Well, what do you think the nukes are all about?
Exactly. And this is what always gets me. They keep saying Iran can't be trusted with nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
How can Israel be trusted? And how can the US be trusted?
No, not if you get Trumps all along. You can't.
No one can be trusted. That's the point. Human beings can't be trusted. This is where AI is going to take over.
Absolutely. What about AI then? That might just press the button.
Yeah.
For all you know, because that AI gets to know your mentality as a leader or whatever, and he realizes that this is the kind of person you are. That is going to press the button. Then what?
It's crazy, isn't it? All the conversations I have with Claude and ChatGPT, and I think these AI models know me better than I know myself, and it's scary.
Do you know what I mean? It's scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is scary. Vedic astrology is from the Vedas, by the way, 5,000 years ago, you know, it's a branch of the Vedas. So, I mean, it was found in the Indus Valley, you know, in India. So, yes, we are the oldest astrology in the world, and we are absolutely in alignment with the astronomical stars. So if I say that Israel had Jupiter in a particular sign, or Venus in a particular sign, if you look astronomically, that is true on the day. Mm-hmm. So we are on a fixed zodiac, and that's why we get great results when we talk about Vedic astrology. So putting that aside, I just believe that one has to be technologically, that's why we are on the moon right now. Mm-hmm. They've gone back and they've done more than they did last time. So all these things will happen. And why do you think people are looking for new places now?
Yeah, because this world is about to get destroyed.
Because it is all going down the pan, yes.
So what about Iran? If you look at their chart, was it indicated that their leader would fall and that they would be going through such turmoil right now?
Okay, I want to specify how I astrologically look at a country's chart. Mm-hmm. I know people call them an Islamist state and everything. I call it spiritual. We use religion as a vehicle to spirituality. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So when Iran was born, and we take it down to 79 when the first Ayatollah came in power, and it had Jupiter in the first house exalted. Now that is absolutely brilliant. So they are spiritual people. But then we all know that in the Kalyug there are good people and then there are bad people, okay? So I don't want to go too much into all that, but I want to talk about the country itself. So when it was born, it was very spiritual. The moon is also sitting in a fantastic placement of Taurus, where we call it Mulatikon, which means it's very powerfully placed. And then we look at their second and eighth house. That's where the difference is. That's where the sacrifices come from. And also the sign of Pisces. So what happens is they've got Saturn and Rahu sitting in their second house. Mm-hmm. And that honestly is not a happy ship. Mm-hmm. There are so many ups and downs they have to go through. A lot of sacrifices through money. You know how many sanctions they've had, and they haven't thrived because they are such intelligent group of people, you know. Iranians are absolutely intelligent, creative and cultured people, and they have not been allowed to flourish because Saturn and Rahu has been hogging their number 2 house of happiness and expansion and everything, and it is a financial axis as well, by the way. And because it's a financial axis, we know they've always had sanctions placed upon them, and so that's one thing. And they are born under Sarp Yoga as well. And then Pisces sign, that is the sacrifices they have to make because of their spirituality, call it religion, whatever you want to call it. That's why people, it's like live or die. in this war as well. It's live or die. And they will go to the end.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what happens. And those sacrifices come with Mars sitting there, Mercury sitting there, and also Sun is sitting there. And today, as I speak about Iran, in the sign of Pisces, we've got Saturn sitting there, Mars is now transiting there, and Sun is sitting there. Now, when the war actually took place, Ketu was already in the Leo sign. I spoke about generations and Pitrus and everything, didn't I?
Yeah.
And that is ruled by Sun, isn't it? And the Ayatollah got killed on the first day.
So that is indicated right now.
There and there. So can you understand where we are coming from? It is an incredible chart, but there is a lot of pain in this chart. So as I said, it's all about live or die, and they will never give up. They have so much pride in them. They are protecting their homeland because it's Cancer rising. They want to protect their home. They don't want anyone throwing things at them. So yeah, it's going to be a tough one.
I feel like every nation deserves a good leader.
Yeah.
But having Trump and Netanyahu come in to try and save them, to be the saviours, it was never going to work out. They are no one's saviour. They are there for the oil, they're there for the money, they're there for the power.
They are the typical Kalyugins.
That's it. They see an opportunity and they just jump at it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of Iranians, I know that there were a lot of protests and a lot of controversy surrounding that as well.
Yeah, everybody's not happy with the regime.
They weren't happy, but I also can't imagine that they would be happy with what's happening right now.
No, they don't want their place broken up. So many places of culture have been smashed to pieces.
Well, he said he wanted to destroy their civilization.
Who wants that? Come on. Who wants
Trump.
that?
Trump wants that.
No, what I mean is it's so cruel, isn't it?
Yeah.
How can he do that? And especially in Lebanon, what happened today. I watched those high-rise where civilians are living. Young children are living there. And it's broken to little pieces. I almost cried today. I could not believe that the world can be that cruel.
Yeah.
And
that's Kalyug. That's Kalyug. And it's also the wrong people in power. And it always baffles me as to how these people get there. Yeah. But then when we discuss their chart, we realise, they're born under a solar eclipse. Or they've got their planets in this position. Yeah. So you can see that karmically they may be given the power, but they also abuse that power.
You see, when they come into the world, that is the print of their charts, okay? Doesn't mean they have to follow that chart. It means that these are their weaknesses. Maybe they can become better people. Maybe they can become more spiritual. They mindful about people, other people, human beings, humanity.
Yeah.
Food. Gaza didn't have food. Children were crying for food. You're maiming the children. You're killing the children. It's not Hamas. Hamas is still there, by the way.
Yeah.
They're not going to leave their arms, they said. So Hamas is still there. Hezbollah will still be there because all they're doing is creating more and more of Hezbollahs, Hamas. All these people are
more
still...
animosity and more people fighting for their freedom.
Why can't they sit on a table and work it out?
Because it comes down to money.
You see, it's not just money, it's power.
Power.
And power is a very evil thing. It is very
in the wrong hands.
Yeah.
In the right hands, it should be fine.
This guy, Trump, is always, look, I'm going to make so much money. I'm going to come and take your oil. Who talks like that? Even a child wouldn't talk like that.
He's literally, he should, when he goes to sleep at night, he should picture all of those babies he has killed. Yeah. All of those drones that he's just allowed to be dropped.
I'm sorry.
Imagine the families that he's killing and breaking up.
We have to have some sort of, we need to care. We need to care in this world. Otherwise, me is not good. It's all going
what's the point? It means
what's the
nothing.
point? Why are you being selfish? We're living in a world. Look now, nobody can go to the Middle East now. Everybody, every time you heard, I'm going to Dubai, I'm going to Qatar, I'm doing this. There are so many sporting events in the Middle East. Everything was opening up for the good. Mm-hmm. And look what's happened now.
It's just brought the entire world
Whole
back.
Middle East has collapsed right now. And it will take them years and years to come up, yeah? That's when the true war ends. This is the beginning of the Third World War. And so I dread it, but it's happened.
How long? You keep talking about the Third World War. How long do you foresee that period of time?
I think 31, 32. Up to.
Up to.
Yeah, we are already in 26 now. So 30 is 4 more years. And by the time we are sorting it all out, it'll be 31 maybe.
Wow.
Yeah. 4 years are gone nowhere. They'll be gone nowhere because it's not going to happen tomorrow. It's going to be a build-up of the Third World War.
Or just lots of other countries fighting against each other.
Well, look what's happening in Africa.
Yeah, well, that's been going on for years, and
Yes.
no one takes
Nobody
notice.
takes any notice. I say it with a very heavy heart that that's what the world has come to, you know. And I think this is really sad. Today I heard that the Lebanese are ruled by the Christians. It's a Christian country, by the way, yeah. And Hezbollah was never there until Israel invaded them. And then they call them the proxies of Iran because Iran wants to help them, like America wants to help Israel. So people always have people they help. Why not? I don't like people to be fundamentalists and all that because that really does ruin our lives, okay? So I'm not in that favor. I think when there was so much mess in the Middle East because they put Israel right in the middle of it. So this has been going on for like 48 years. And at least some person with calm head should have sat down and had something worked out so that we would never come to this. But of course, people are not going to be like that, are they?
I just think Britain thought divide and conquer. We're going to leave them to it.
Yeah.
Here's your piece of land, but before we go, let's draw a quick line and say, hey, we're going to put all of these people in your land just to create a bit of havoc before we go. And they did it with India and Pakistan.
Yeah,
so it's not anything new.
It reminds me now with Pakistan and Afghanistan having their little tittle-tattle. We'll get India involved. India might want Kashmir, or there might be a fight over Kashmir. So, all these little wars are going to become big blown wars. And guess who started it? Trump and Netanyahu. Because there's no rule in the world. There is no law. You don't follow any of the rules of the war. So that's it. So why should anybody else?
Exactly. That's the point. If that is what they're setting as president, then no one else will follow the rules either.
So astrology gives you direction. It tells you where it can go. It doesn't have to happen. It tells you where it's going to go. And we are coming to these conclusions as astrologers. It's only because we can see what planets are running, what the planets are doing, and who the leaders are, what are they thinking. That's how we put it all together and we come to these conclusions. So it is a roadmap actually.
Yeah.
Astrology is a roadmap and we are following it and we are working patterns from the other wars. They nuked, I think, was it Hiroshima? So we look at all these times and we work out where the planets were and everything. And that's how we come to these conclusions.
So what about the US? What's going on in their chart at the moment?
Yes, that's an important one. Yeah.
I mean, I've from just watching the news, a lot of people are very unhappy with Trump.
Yeah. So United States is Sagittarius rising, and right now they're in the middle of their Saturn's return from the moon. By the way, yeah.
Well, that must have kicked in when Trump came in. I'm assuming.
I think so too, because it's been on for at least 5 years now, and he came only recently. Yeah,
he was literally their Saturn's return.
That's the Saturn's return. Oh, that's absolutely brilliant. And all these planets are now congregating in the sign of Pisces, which is their homeland. Okay, and so there's going to be a lot of upheaval at home as well. Between people and maybe the MAGA and the other people or whatever. I know they keep on saying they are still supporting the war. Not when the body bags start going back, when people are getting killed. It's not going to work out. So there's going to be a lot of rivalry there. So that's where the planets are right now. Now, if you look across to USA, I mean, this chart was formed in 1776, by the way, yeah? So we're looking at July 4th, 1776. And look at across them. They've got Mars, Venus, Sun, and Jupiter sitting there. Of course, Mars is there. So you know how America came into being.
Yeah,
by killing all the indigenous people.
By stealing land.
Lots of things. I don't even want to go there. So that's what's happening in their chart. And when the Angara Kalyug started, it started as Leo sign. And this is exactly why they are today involved in this war. It's not their war. No. It is other parties' war, but they are involved because of Israel now.
See, I can never really see the US falling because I think they're just too big. but I could see something going on in the Middle East where these smaller countries could fall.
Yeah.
I mean, you said Israel, you don't think it's...
I don't think Israel can survive. Not after what he's done. But it cannot survive.
But I don't know. I don't know if I see it completely.
Okay, I mean, I'm not a seer or I can't look further down. I can astrologically tell you that it will not survive.
You don't think so?
It won't survive. And also, if you look at USA, after it comes out of its Saturn's return from the moon, it actually goes and falls.
So it's still got
a lot of issues going on.
Yeah. I mean, they
Civil
have
war
so
can
many
break
issues.
up. I mean, they've got ice now and all that nonsense going on. So you can understand why we are in the pickle we are. Look at our own land and you think, wow, what's going on in our own homeland? And then you say, whoa, now we can see the bigger picture outside, what's going on there. You know, it's not fair. But that's
so whose chart is worse right now? If we were to look at the countries, Iran, the US and Israel.
Well, you know, US will come through better than everyone.
Yeah.
Of course it will. It's not only because it's such a powerful country, it's because look at the planets in the Gemini sign. They've got Venus, they've got Jupiter, they've got Sun, and then they've got Mars. So they are very powerful. Of course they will come through. But you know, it won't hurt them. But look what they're doing in the meantime, hurting so many other people.
Yeah.
Israel, I really have very little hope for them because what they've done in the Middle East, a lot is to do with the charts and astrology, and people don't forget, by the way. So what happens to them? People's whole families have been wiped out. Okay, so don't get me wrong.
It's horrible. It's a genocide.
So as history is written and everything, you know what history is going to talk about, what Netanyahu did, and then they're going to talk about what Trump said on the eve of the night when he was going to bomb everyone. I'm going to remove the civilization. I'm going to kill everybody. I mean, all this is going to go down in history.
These are the rantings of a madman.
Yeah.
I mean, the way he talked about Joe Biden having lost his mind, does he ever look in the mirror and look at how he's writing, how he's speaking, how he's leading?
I mean, let me go into his chart one more time just to show you that this man is actually mad.
And also, the way that Netanyahu has gotten Trump involved, you were telling me earlier that you think that he must have information on him.
Why does Netanyahu have so much control over Trump? I want to know.
Well,
the only thing that comes to my mind is Epstein files. Because now I was going to talk about that, about Donald. Because he's running a period Jupiter and Venus. Venus, you can see, is in his 12th house of losses. It rules his work. So status is gone. And then it rules women. Yeah. So that's to do with the Epstein files. So I think that he's in a lot of trouble. And the reason he was chosen as a leader and everything, Jupiter helped him a lot. And not only that, I do worry about Donald, about his life. Like, something nasty can happen to him. I know somebody tried to kill him.
Yeah.
And he
survived.
He survived. And good for him. But, he survived. But with Mars in the first house, usually our death is quite violent. And if you look at the 4th house of endings, he's got Ketu and Moon fallen. That's not good. That's not good. So, it's looking pretty nasty for him. He might get ill. I don't know, maybe dementia. I don't know. Something is going to happen to him. And so he's quite old now. He's 80, isn't he?
I think he's 79, but he's turning 80 this year.
Coming up to 80. And Netanyahu, both partners in crime. Let's see what happens. Let's see how it unfolds now.
Absolutely.
So remember, this war hasn't ended. It might have little snatches of peace, but it's going to erupt again, and it's going to carry on until we come into our full-blown Third World War. If I was Donald's astrologer, I would have given him so much good advice.
Yeah, but would he have listened?
That's another story.
I don't think he listens to anyone.
That's another story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we've covered everything we can in that episode.
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. We are on Apple and Spotify, and we're also on YouTube. So please do subscribe and follow, and also share. Thank you for listening. Namaste.
Namaste.